some to others, it won't pay us no difference. Because if somebody
You're listening to talktainmentradio.com.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of talktainmentradio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
This is All in Our Family, and I'm S. Yolanda Robinson, and this is radio, the way it should be heard. Listening audience, excuse me, I have a treat for you. Willie Brown is on the line, and he's going to talk to you about how he has bounced back, and now he's an author and CEO of a foundation that's doing some amazing things. So, Mr. Brown, how are you doing?
I'm doing rather well. I cannot complain. 2 weeks removed from hip replacement surgery, but for the most part, God's been good to me, and I'm blessed.
Oh yes. Now you were a professional baseball player and a coach and a teacher, and now you're an author publishing over 70 books. You know, what made you decide to be an author?
Well, in high school, there were two things that I was very good at: baseball and writing. My teachers always complimented my writing skills, and my coaches always complimented my baseball ability. And, I put all my eggs in the baseball basket, but I always knew that I could write. And I used to joke that someday my life is going to be a best-selling book. And who knew that, 20, 30 years later, I would have penned maybe 125 different books.
Yeah, 125. I thought, oh my gosh. Now, how long does it take you to write a book? I mean, that's a lot.
It all depends on how motivated I am. Usually when I'm focused, it can go from a title in my head to an actual book that is print ready in 4 days.
What a blessing. What a blessing. So your book, I was looking at some of your books. You have one about a child that hates school and they don't want to come home. They're practical experiences for some children, and it can open up a lot of discussions. They give a message to children.
The book that you're referring to is entitled "I Hate Home, I Hate School," a letter to my dad. And that was the first book that I wrote. I lost my dream job at Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University. I am a FAMU Rattler, and I was FAMU's head baseball coach. And I lost my job at FAMU, and my wife told me I needed to find a better way to channel my energy. So I picked up my pen and started writing. And I wrote that as a poem. And it became, the first story. I Hate Home, I Hate School. And it's literally an autobiography of my life.
Wow. Now, you decided to self-publish. Is that difficult to self-publish?
Well, originally I did not decide to self-publish.
You didn't? Okay.
Originally I had a 2-book deal with a company called Author House. Because I was lazy. I didn't want to self-publish. The wife encouraged me to, and I learned yet another valuable lesson. The wife is always right. So I paid Author House almost $3,000 for a 2-book deal. And then Author House literally took a book that I'd already been publishing and distributing, changed the cover, and then told me I can buy my book back from them at $10 a book. Which was the price that I was already selling them at, out of the trunk of my car. But it's not a hard process. It really isn't. I had a friend that knew how to set a book up, and I learned from him how to set a book up. Now there's and online places that will allow you to set your books up. All you got to do is upload the pictures and input the text, and then they'll set it up, format it, and send out an ebook or a hard copy of it. You can order hard copies of it. and all of this can be done online now. It's gotten even easier.
Oh, I was going to ask you, with children's books, it's really important that you have good illustrations. So
yes.
You get the illustrations, or do you
no.
have the illustrator?
And I'll tell you, the illustrations are the most difficult part of the entire book process. Because it can take a good illustrator anywhere from 2 to 4 months to produce the pictures that you want. And usually a good book, a good kid's book, you want about 15 to 20 pictures, cover, back cover, and then, the books for the inside of it. But I met a young girl. She was a sophomore in high school, and her name is Erica Willis. And we had a mutual friend. The friend that helped me set up the book was an art teacher. And he introduced me to his prize student, his best student. And it turned out to be Erica.
Wow.
He let her read my book. She started drawing. She sketched some images. I loved the sketches. And then she just took them a step further and digitized them.
Oh, and she did. And she digitized them too. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, these books could be read right now for at home. I mean, how do you suggest that the parents do that? I mean, you got a lot of books, and they're good. They're very good books. Now, if they order the books, how could you help their children? While they're reading.
I do have a YouTube channel. And I don't use it as much as I should. Where I do read some of my stories. I do read some of the developing stories, to get feedback from people. I also have a website, www.projectsmile.org.
That smile is spelled SMYLE.
Yes.
Okay.
Serving and mentoring youth in low-income environments. And there's a page on there where you can purchase merchandise and donate.
Oh, okay. So tell us about Smile. What does Smile do? What does Smile do?
Well, to be as basic as I can be, I'm a Title I student. I grew up in a poor community. I grew up in a 2-bedroom house. It was falling apart. We had critters, we had raccoons, we had roaches, we had rats, we had mice, we had spiders. My home felt like it was a little farm. So many critters could come in and out of our home. But that didn't stop me from wanting to be successful. I had teachers that told me you can be anything that you wanted to do. And I think that's due largely in part to the testament of the village that raised me. So, I became a teacher to thank them and to pay it forward. And the nonprofit just gives me an opportunity to continue the work that they did for me with the next generation.
What kind of work is that?
I do it all. I DJ. Your job pays your bill. Your hustle gets you the things that you want. So I've developed a lot of hustle. I make my own apparel. I make my own shirts. I can sublimate and make my own shirts. And, instead of buying T-shirts, I make my own. And I can sell those. I have a food truck. On Thanksgiving, Christmas, different times of the year, we feed the community. And, we used to go out there with fryers and pots. And I said that there's got to be a better way. And Project Smile helped me do that.
Wow.
But, father-daughter dances,
all those things.
School drives, Christmas drives, Thanksgiving drives, you name it, we do it. Cleaning up the community, homeless, clothing drive, pantry drive. We do a little bit of everything. And we even do fundraisers for other charities.
Well, give us that web page number again, so anybody that wants to purchase one of your books or contribute to Project Smile, what is that web address again? www.projectsmile, and smile is spelled SMYLE.org. www.projectsmile.org. Wow, you know what? You're just an amazing person. I can't believe it. 125 books, giving back in the community. I know you're not You're not lonely because you're always doing something. But that is so, you know, you're a make it happen person. And I am so glad that I had an opportunity to have you on this program. We're going to have to bring you back later on in the year to talk more specifically about some of your books. But I'd like to thank you, Mr. Brown, for being on this week's program of All in Our Family. And
well, I hope you invite me back. And I'd love to do a book reading. I've got stories from Black history to refugee awareness to bullying, you name it, every topic that I see in the school system. I've got a book that addresses it. From foster care. I'm telling you, as a teacher, what I see is what I write about.
All right.
And, you know, as a child, what I've experienced, I also write about.
Well, we're going to do that.
I would love to come back.
We're going to do that, and that's a promise. It'll be later on in the year, but thank you, Mr. Brown, for being on this week's program of All in Our Family. And
thank you for giving me the platform.
Thank you.
I love it.
I'll see you next week. Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.